Most of you all know, if you've been watching these in sequence, that I am on an immune system kick and the lymphatic fluid particularly, because it is the change of seasons from winter to spring, and we might still have kind of some of that stagnant, earthy, earthbound, cold, heavy, oily energy of winter. It's not a bad thing, right? But now we're moving into spring and we might be a little imbalanced, so we want to start to get ready for that. So today's sequence is going to speak to that. We're going to start in Hero's Pose, aka Virasana, and I'm going to suggest you come onto a block for that. And remember, you've got 3 different heights of the blocks, and if you have more than one block, you can then have many variations. So you're going to find the height that's right for you. Any of my knee injury friends where this doesn't work, you can try a blanket behind the knees. That often allows people to do this, and you jam it right in at the crease. Otherwise, sit in Sukhasana with your shins crossed. Not a big deal, yeah? My friends trying Virasana, my knees come together, but I have my ankles separated. Were I to sit between, or my buttocks all the way down, my buttocks would not sit on my heels, but in between them. So there's a little bit of width. While we're working with the block, you're going to bring your outer ankles, hug them in so your inner ankles move into the block, so we just get a little bit of length through that inner edge of the foot. And this is it from the side view, sitting up nice and tall. And from the front view, it looks a little bit more like this, yeah? Knees in, ankles wide. So go ahead and put your palms up or down, or you can stack your palms and bring them right in at the belly. All of these things are on the table. And close the eyes. And we're not going to be here for a long time, but I do want to take just a few moments to check in. Find out what's happening in that physical body first, the muscular body specifically. If you've got tension that you can feel that you do not need, you release it. And then take a few moments and check in with your breath, starting to cultivate that soft belly breath, but you might also work with that Ujjayi breath. If you don't know what that is, I'll have a time where I teach just that. But it's a slight restriction at the back of the throat. We call it the whisper breath, the oceanic breath. Ujjayi translates as victorious breath, right? It's the same muscle you use to whisper, to say goo, 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 and to fog up a mirror. So if any of those are helpful, go ahead and start to recruit that slight restriction. Maybe even playing with having an inhale and a slight pause, a kumbhaka at the top of the inhale, and an exhale and a slight pause, another kumbhaka at the end of your exhale. And then for your next inhale, go ahead and open the eyes. So you'll try to keep that Ujjayi or the soft belly breath, whatever you're working with, going as we move. We're going to start by interlacing our hands and pushing our palms forward. Go ahead and let those shoulders, if they reach forward, soften gently back into their sockets. Yeah? So you have that really long spine. And then with an inhale, start to raise those arms up any amount. Now, depending on the time of day you're doing this, maybe the shoulders aren't warmed up yet or open enough. If they're sore, don't go so high. You don't have to go all the way overhead. Try not to let the head bob forward, right? These are some of our usuals for reaching the arms overhead. Push a little more through the index finger and the thumb just to invite that bicep line to open. And come back down, turn the palms towards you, change the interlace. Push the palms forward. Strong arms, right? But also a softness to them. Definitely a softness to the inner shoulders. Don't let those upper traps take over. And find that edge before the spine wants to change, before the shoulders want to lift, before the elbows want to bend, before there's pain, whatever that might be for you. We all have different edges, yeah? And bring those arms back down. And then you're going to go ahead and we're going to go right out with the arms. Now, we're going to start with goalposts, but then I'm going to have you bring your palms down, right? So my elbows are about shoulder height. You can always go lower if your upper traps are active. And those palms down. I'm going to go a little below because my upper traps already are talking to me a little bit this morning, wanting to work, right? So from there, we're going to go into twist. So you're going to inhale, And with an exhale, twist to the right. It's not a very big twist and the arms aren't doing it. Inhale, neutral, and exhale to the left. Inhale, neutral, one more time this way, and then we'll add on. Exhaling to the right, keep those shoulders and arms out of the twist. Inhale, meaning they follow, they do not lead. Exhaling to the left. Now you can keep working just like that, or you can start to work with the breath in this way. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. It sounds like this with the breath. Find your pace. You can keep the head forward if you're getting dizzy. You can turn the head with the chest if that's okay. You get to pick which one's best for you this morning. Maybe you're not doing it in the morning, whenever you're doing it. You can make that breath a little stronger, almost like breath of fire, if that works for you, starting to get into those lungs in a stronger way. 2 more. 1. And go ahead and pause. Find a position that's comfortable for your arms and your hands. Close the eyes. And just notice if you, A, feel anything going on in your arms, all the way to the shoulders. B, feel anything alongside the spinal column, the muscular physical body particularly, yeah. And then also, maybe you notice your heart pumping. Maybe you notice the breathing is a little more rapid. And so hopefully we're starting to move that circulation of the blood and the lymphatic fluid, but also we're starting to play with the lungs. Kapha, which is that heavy quality I was talking about, that's the Sanskrit word for it, that constitution, right, resides in the chest. So we're going to try and get into the chest as we move today as well, yeah? Open those eyes, and let's go ahead, and we're going to come off of our blocks, our boosts, and we're going to come onto hands and knees. And from there, let's just take a moment and stretch the back of the legs. So stretch your right leg back, and just go ahead and go back and forth a couple of times, just opening up any compression that might have happened in the back of the right leg. And bring that down, curl the left toes under, and same thing. You're just going to go ahead and move back and forth a couple of times and try to get rid of any of that compression. Come back to neutral, cat-cow. Inhale, shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, rounding the spine up to the sky. So let's do that again. But inhale, imagine your lungs leading the way. What does that feel like when you let your lungs lead? Reaching forward. And then you got those backs of those lungs too, yeah? So what happens when the backs of the lungs reach up to the sky? 2 more times. Inhale, let your lungs try to reach forward through the front of your chest. And exhale, let the lungs reach up to the sky. 1 more. You know where you're going. Come back to neutral, and from there we're going to go up in a downward dog. So you're going to walk your hands a couple of inches in front of the shoulders, or maybe about a handprint, something like that. Before you go, move the shoulder blades down the back and find that length in the spine and the neck especially. And then curl those toes under and start to make your way back. Now you may pedal one leg and then the other and just kind of move through that. Stretching the backs of the legs any amount. Try to keep that ujjayi breath going even though we're not moving on the breath and I'm not calling it out. At some point in time you'll move towards a little bit more stillness. Take another breath there. And with your exhale, you're going to walk your hands back to your feet. You'll end up at the back of your mat. Let the knees bend a little bit. Let the body drape down. Grab onto the backs of the calves. Whatever that means to you in your body, maybe you're up higher, whatever that means, right? And then from there, you're going to go ahead, you're going to try to keep your ribs and your thighs, whatever distance they are in your body, not mine, yours, right? And you're going to start to push the heels down and reach your buttocks bones up, aka straighten, but just don't whoop your knees back. Go nice and slow, find out where the hamstrings start to talk. It's pretty early in the morning where I am, so, you know, they're a little tighter this morning because I haven't moved very much yet today, so I'm gentle, I'm tender with them. Hands on the shins, reach that chest forward. Exhale, folding in. 1 more time, hands on the shins, reaching the chest forward. And this time, pause, hands on the hips, elbows up. Reach that that chest forward to come on up and come all the way up to the top of your mat. We're going to kind of just start to move right into it. Inhale, reach those arms forward and up. This is the line we've already worked, so we're going to play with that a little bit. Exhale, reach the arms out and down and start to fold down into Uttanasana. Inhale, reach that chest forward. Bend your knees, plant your hands. You're going to step your left foot back and get nice and deep in that lunge. One of the things that Kapha is really awesome for is stability, right? It's earthbound, it's stable. So can you find the energy of the earth coming up into you, and can you stabilize? Now we're going to move into crescent. You can always put your knee down, but I'm going to go right up into it today if you can. Go ahead and bend that left knee a little bit as you come up so you keep that spine long and that pelvis neutral, yeah? And then once you find that, you can play with that lengthening of that left leg. Start to say, hello, left psoas, how are you? Soften your inner shoulders if they're active. Now we're going to go into jackknife, right? You're going to go ahead and you're going to reach your arms back, and you're going to reach your chest forward, and you're going to try to lengthen as much as you can in the body, kind of hovering over the right leg. Let that right hip move in and back. If it moved out to the right, it often does. Inhale back up into your crescent pose. And exhale, bring the hands down, stepping back to downward dog on this first round. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to try and get a little bit of rhythm. Inhale the left leg into the air behind you. Exhaling that forward. That foot forward. Go ahead and find that stability. Find that Kapha energy coming up and stabilizing you, yeah? And then once you feel stable, right, you can come down, but if you leave it lifted, you're going to bend it a little bit as you start to come up into your crescent pose. Check into your inner shoulders, check into the pelvis, and then maybe that right heel starts to reach back a little bit. Right side is almost always tighter for me, so it bends a little more on that side, right? I just know that about my body. And then from there, we're going to go to jackknife. So you're going to reach the arms back. Actively reach the fingers from the right heel back. Straighten that leg out. Reach the chest forward, the lungs forward. And then inhaling back up into crescent pose. Bringing the hands down, stepping forward to your forward fold. Inhale, reach the chest forward. Exhale, folding in. Inhale, coming all the way up. Maybe the palms come together and you look up and bring the hands down to the heart. Pause for one breath. Inhale and exhale. Adding on. We're going to inhale the arms forward and come up today. Soft inner shoulders, gaze slightly up maybe. Exhale, folding in. Inhale, chest forward. Now bend your knees, plant your hands, step your right foot back. Find that stability. We're coming right back up in that sequence. Inhale into crescent pose. Again, we're going to build heat today and get a little bit of vigor. Go ahead and move into jackknife. We'll move a little quicker, but we're going to add on. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Moving, inhaling up into your crescent pose. Now we're going to bring our hands together at our heart. We're going to bring our right heel down. We're going to walk the left foot over just a little bit so we have alignment for warrior two, and turn towards the long edge of your mat. Sorry, you get my back on the first round, right? And as I come into warrior two, I'll reach the arms out, soft shoulders. I'm going to turn, look over my left fingertips, and almost always we have you look over the fingertips. But with Kapha, it's pretty important. The gaze is, so you're going to keep your chin level to the ground, but look up with your eyeballs. Your eyeballs, not your chin. And look above your horizon line, right? And then think strong warrior here. Take an inhale. And with an exhale, you're going to windmill, not pedal, windmill that down. And this time, maybe stepping back to a plank. If that feels okay, go to downward dog or child's pose or whatever you need. If not, right? Heels back, chest forward. Exhale back, downward facing dog. One breath. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale the right leg into the air behind you and step it forward. Get nice and stable. Find that energy. Inhaling up into your crescent pose. And next one, we're coming into jackknife. Next inhale. We stay there for the exhale and we work it, yeah? And then we inhale back up into crescent pose. Bringing the hands together at the heart, we bring the left heel down. We walk the right foot over a little bit. Inhale, extend the arms out, chest to the long edge of the mat, whatever that means in your body. Turning to look over the right fingertips. Now keep your chin level, but your eyeballs, have your eyeballs go up above your horizon level, right? Again, we want to get out of that earthbound heavy energy. We want to open the chest and broaden the collarbone and gaze up. Exhale, swiveling down or stepping forward. So you might wiggle the right foot over to the right a little. Step the left foot forward. Inhale, reaching the chest forward. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rising, arms out to the side or hands on hips. Palms might come together, gaze might reach up, and bring those hands to the heart. Chin becomes parallel to the ground, but the gaze might stay a little higher. And go ahead and bring those arms down. So I'm going to try and do a longer version of this class for my friends who have time, but most of my friends don't do much beyond a 30-minute class, so I'm going to try and make this one accessible for that time slot. So next we're going to go into eagle pose, yeah? Because when you can start doing a number of those in a row and you build that heat and you start to sweat and detox and get rid of all those things in your body, it's really beautiful, yeah? So that one is coming, but in the meantime, this is just a quickie, yeah? So we're going into eagle, so you might want that block next to your right foot, and you might put the toes on the earth, you might do the leg just hovering, and you might do the full wrap, but if you do the full wrap, don't let those hips come off kilter, and I'll talk about that. I'm going to show the version on the block, because I think this makes it really accessible for the majority of folks, yeah? So, hands on the hips, elbows back, find that beautiful zipper all the way up through in your body, pelvic floor is what I mean with that. Bend the knees in a little bit. And then you're going to lift the left leg, crossing the left leg all the way over the right. And those toes might come down on the block or the floor. You might hover, you might wrap. If I wrap, my hip moves a little further forward, so I don't wrap personally. But again, I'm going to show the toes on the block version. Now from there, your arms reach out to the side. And you're going to let your left arm come underneath the right, yeah? And maybe you wrap, maybe you just hug. They're both on the table. I'm going to turn my view so you can just see from the side. I keep my upper traps out of it, but I'm going to try and lift my elbows up to about the height of the chest, but if that's not accessible, leave them lower. Maybe those forearms come out just a little bit away from your face, right? We're going to take a big old inhale into the back of the lungs. And with an exhale, you might start to bend the knees a little bit, folding in, eagle coming into the nest, you can think, yeah? Take an inhale there and soften in. Exhale, and then with an inhale, push into that heel like crazy. We're not coming out. Come back up to where we started. And maybe those elbows move a little forward and up, and feeling that left side of the back body probably. And then we're going to try and come all the way up and try to control that back down to the earth. Let go of the arms. Interlace behind you. Pushing into the sacrum, opening the chest, knuckles reaching down, and now broaden the collarbone, come into the other side of your lungs. Well, as if there's only two sides, but you know what I mean, we were just in the back, so let's come into the front. Inhale, maybe that gaze up, and go ahead and release those arms by the side. Move that block to the other side, standing up nice and tall. Hands on the hips, find that zipper and get nice and tall, yeah? Bending the knees. You're going to go ahead and let that right leg for you guys cross all the way over as I fall over. And maybe those toes come to the block, maybe they hover, maybe they wrap. On this side, I can wrap better without the hips moving forward. You know, it's so weird, but don't let the hips come off kilter just to try to get the wrap. It's not worth it. You start to build asymmetries, right? And then your arms reach out. Your right arm comes underneath your left. You try to find that wrap. Maybe it's a hug. And then keeping the upper traps out of it, lift the elbows. No higher than the shoulders, but they don't have to go that high. It depends on what's happening in your body. Forearms might come out away from the face a little bit for my forearm and hand wrappers, yeah? And then from there, we're going to take an inhale and get nice and tall. And with an exhale, we're going to fold in. Let the head soften, and if you can gaze at the floor for balance, because that helps the balance to keep a gazing point, yeah? And then with your next inhale, you're going to push into that left heel and come up just where we started. Don't come all the way out of it. And then maybe those elbows can kind of scoop forward and up a little bit if you lost a little bit. And then push into that foot and come on up and uncross. And then interlace awkward way, other index finger on top, pushing into the sacrum, shoulders rolling back, maybe knuckles reaching down and broadening the collarbone. As my upper back moves in and that neck extends, I do end up with a little lift, but it's because of my upper back. I'm not just lifting the chin up, right? And the gaze lifts up and inhale into the collarbone. And exhale, go ahead and release that. Move the block if you were working with the block. We're going to come on down to the ground. And I'm actually going to have you come down onto your belly. If you wear glasses, you might not want them for this twist that we're going to do from our belly. And this is a fairly new twist to me, but this sequence is inspired, I can't remember her name, gall darn it, I'll try to put it in the writing, from a gal I took an online class with that I really, really liked. And this twist I had not done before, and I'm kind of in love with it. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to go into half frog pose. What that means is you're going to bring your right leg out so that it's about out from the hip. The heel's about out from the knee, right? So you've got that 90-degree thing that we often do in tabletop or those other positions. It's just off to the side so you get a little stretch in your inner groin. Maybe you're feeling your outer hip, something in that realm. And my elbows are just wide. I can always make a pillow for my head. And I'm going to let my head turn and try to get onto my, for me, with this right knee out, and I'm facing the same way as my knee, letting my left cheek come down to the ground as much as I can. That way I get a little neck stretch too, yeah? Now from there, you're going to reach your left arm overhead, straighten it out, lengthen it. And then I'm going to put my right hand down and I'm going to start to push the floor away. And as I do and I roll onto my left side body, I can let that right knee, you'll notice it's moving back to me and the right hip is lifting. I'm going to reach the right fingertips up to the sky now, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let that come back. You guys can do full extension potentially because of my space. I'm going to bend my right elbow and do goalpost arm. And it's not about the hip staying down, so let the hip lift if it wants to. The head might turn a little towards that right arm, soften the right shoulder. The head comes off of the bicep at some point probably, it comes down to the floor and the neck softens. Take another breath there. And then from there, go ahead and start to roll back down towards your belly, but you're going to leave your right arm, leg out to the right a little bit, and bring that right arm down and just take a breath there. So if any of my friends know first aid or CPR, this is the recovery position, yeah? So you're just going to pause there, let the body just soften in. And then we're going to do that same twist on the other side. So you'll reach the right leg back, we'll bring the arms back out towards goalpost kind of arms. You're going to bring that left knee out to the side of the left hip, the heel underneath the knee-ish. So again, find your 90-degree angles. It's half frog for any of my friends who know frog. And you're just going to soften down. I'm going to suggest that you turn and lay on your right cheek, head same way as knees, and just take a baby neck stretch here. And it might not be a baby neck stretch for you. It might be huge. But for some of us, it's going to be just a little neck stretch. Soften everything. And then that left hand comes on the ground. You reach the right arm overhead, straightening, lengthening, pushing into the hand, rolling onto the right side body, letting the left hip lift. And then when you got some stability, you can reach that left arm up and back. Again, if space is an issue, you can always do goalpost arm, or if it feels better for that matter. Otherwise, you might do full extension. Let the head come down to the floor if it can make it. Let it soften. Left hip gets to come as high as it wants to. And breathe. And then from there, go ahead and bring that hand up. Bring that left hand down to the ground just to ease your way back down. You can leave that left leg out in that frog-like pose, and the left forearm can come down to the ground. You can lay on the right bicep and recalibrate the neck and head. And then you're going to roll onto your back from there. So you can just push off of the left foot and the hand to roll onto your back, rolling over the right side to do that. And once you get into the middle of the mat again, you're going to go ahead and let's just hug the knees in real quick. And I like to kind of rock a little bit from side to side, not just for a little massage, but I don't know if you noticed this, but sometimes the low back gets kind of like moved up, the buttocks towards the upper back, right? And so when we rock, we can let that skin just kind of inch out of there to lengthen the low back. And then from there, you're going to go ahead and maybe circle the knees together if that feels okay. And then the other way. And then go ahead and put the feet on the ground. We already did that twist on our back, so we're going to let that be our big twist to finish. I often finish with twists, yeah. You're going to go ahead and let those legs extend out, arms up, palms up, shoulder blades down. Of course, you can always put your feet on the ground, feet wide, knees together or towards each other. You can always bring your hands back onto your belly, one hand, one belly, one hand, one heart. Close the eyes. If you chose to put your hands on your belly, or if you want to explore this if you haven't done it before, one of the cool things about the hands on the belly, right, is you start to play with the breath. And I actually, I'm gonna revise that. Since we were talking about the lungs today and trying to open up the lungs a little bit, one hand belly, one hand heart, and it doesn't really have to be on the heart, elbow can be on the ground, right? But then I get to experience and feel both my belly rising on the inhale, but also my chest expanding, yeah? And when I exhale, I feel both of those things slowly come back down towards the spine. I'm going to encourage you to think about your lungs expanding not just up to the sky, but also down into the ground and out to the sides. So using an active, conscious breathing technique. We'll let go in a second. Maybe even expanding your armpits. You can. You've got lungs right there. It may seem weird to try to figure out how to do that if you've never tried it. But you've got lymph nodes you can expand there. The next time you exhale, just let the breath go to what it naturally wants to go to. And you don't have to control the breath anymore, but you can still have your awareness with the breath. Every time the mind gets distracted, it comes back to the breath. And let's try to stay here just for about 1 minute. That's about 8 breaths, by the way, 8 to 10 breaths usually. Bring your awareness back to your breath. Maybe wiggle fingers and toes or stretch arms, any of those things that just bring you back into your physical body. Bending the knees, rolling right or left, especially when you're by yourself, you really get to feel which side feels best for you. You might pause and then push that floor away when you are ready and come on up to seated or kneeling the way we started class. They're both on the table. Try to find that long spine, the main energetic channel of the body. Try to find that broad chest. We want it broad on both sides of the body, right? We often, as yoga teachers, keep talking about broad in the collarbone, broad in the collarbone, broad in the collarbone, because more often than not, that's the part that we collapse a little bit, right? But it's not that you want to broaden it so much you collapse in on the back body. Can you inhale and expand across the front of the body? Right? But then with the next inhale, imagine the same thing on the back side from your spine all the way out. Lengthen both sides of the body out. Yep, keeping those upper traps out of it. Close the eyes if you haven't already done so. And if you like this way of moving, you know, probably on Monday, I will be, or in about 4 days from when this one is published, I'll publish another one with more length and more heat. Bring those palms together, take a big ol' inhale. And exhale, bow in. Just taking a moment to be grateful for this beautiful body, and maybe just having a couple of affirmations. I am strong, I am healthy, my immune system is strong, and I will not get sick. Namaste, friends. And I'm going to try to, especially during this time, make more of my videos available to everybody online at YouTube. But I do have videos that will still be available just to my patron subscribers. So patreon.com, CJoy Yoga. If you like this, if you like what I'm doing, please feel free to become a monthly subscriber where you have access A, to all my materials, and B, just help support me financially while I create and try to produce things to keep us all healthy.